Simon & Schuster Audio presents The Hatching, a novel by Ezekiel Boone. Read by George Newbern.
Prologue. Outside Manu National Park, Peru. The guide wanted to tell the group of Americans to shut up. Of course they weren't seeing any animals. Their constant complaining was driving them away. Only the birds remained, and even they seemed skittish. He was just a guide, however, so he said nothing. There were 5 Americans, 3 women and 2 men. The guide was interested in how they were paired off. It seemed unlikely that the fat man, Henderson, had all 3 women for himself. No matter how rich he was, shouldn't 2 women at one time be enough? Perhaps the tall man had one. Perhaps not. As far as the guide could tell, the tall man was there to act as Henderson's bodyguard and servant only. He and Henderson did not act like friends. The tall man carried the fat man's water and snacks, and did not let his eyes linger on any of the women. There was no question that he was in Henderson's employ, as was the guide. The guide sighed. He'd see how the women were portioned off at camp, he thought. In the meantime, he would do what he was paid for, which was lead them through the jungle and point out things that were supposed to impress them. Of course, they'd already done Machu Picchu, which always left tourists feeling as if they had seen everything Peru had to offer, and now there were no animals to show them. He glanced back at Henderson and decided it was time for another break. They'd had to stop every 20 minutes so that the rich man could run into the brush and move his bowels, and now the guide was worried Henderson might be overexerting himself. It wasn't that Henderson was grossly fat, but he was definitely large and clearly struggling to keep pace with the rest of the group. The tall man and the 3 women, though, were all in good shape. The women in particular all looked embarrassingly athletic and young, 20 or 30 years younger than Henderson. It was obvious the heat was getting to him. His face was red and he kept mopping at his forehead with a damp handkerchief. Henderson was older than the women, but looked too young for a heart attack. Still, the guide thought, it wouldn't hurt to keep him well hydrated. After all, it had been made abundantly clear to the guide that if things went well, Henderson might be persuaded to make a sizable donation.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?